In the bustling village of Imbali, surrounded by lush greenery and the distant hum of life, Fatima was known for her beauty, kindness, and unwavering devotion to her family. Her blue, white, and red dresses were as bright as her spirit, a reflection of the love she shared with her husband, Musa. Together, they had built a life from nothing, transforming barren land into fertile fields, and turning their modest home into a sanctuary for their three daughters, Zainab, Halima, and Mariam. Musa was a man of integrity, respected by the community and envied by many. His hard work and ingenuity had elevated him to a position of prominence, but the very success that brought him admiration also bred jealousy, especially among his own brothers, Jamal and Idris. Despite the undercurrent of resentment, Musa believed in family above all else. Fatima often warned him,
Musa, not everyone who smiles at you has a good heart.
Fatima, if we live in fear of everyone, how can we call ourselves a family? Jamal and Idris are my brothers. They will come around.
But Musa's trust would prove to be his undoing. One evening, Musa hosted a family gathering. His brothers, their wives, and children filled the courtyard with laughter and stories. Fatima, dressed in her favorite blue dress, served the guests with her usual grace, her daughters trailing behind her with trays of food. It was a joyous night, but there was a strange tension in the air. Idris whispered something to Jamal, who smirked in response. Fatima noticed, but brushed it off. Later that night, Musa complained of stomach pain. It's probably something I ate, he said, dismissing Fatima's concern. But as the hours passed, his condition worsened. By dawn, he was too weak to stand. Fatima rushed him to the village healer, who examined him with a grave expression.
This is no ordinary illness. It is as if poison runs through his veins.
Poison? Who would do such a thing?
Only the gods know.
Within days, Musa was gone. His death plunged Fatima and her daughters into a world of grief. Dressed in mourning white, she sat by his grave, her cries echoing through the village. Her daughters clung to her, their young hearts unable to comprehend the loss. The day after the burial, Musa's brothers convened a family meeting. Fatima sat in the corner, her head bowed in mourning. Jamal cleared his throat and said, Fatima, as tradition demands, you must shave your head. It is the way we honor the dead. Fatima looked up, her eyes red from crying.
Musa would not have wanted this. He respected my choices.
It is not about what Musa wanted, Idris interjected. It is about what our family demands. Fatima hesitated but knew she had no allies in the room. The elders nodded in agreement and the woman was summoned to shave her head. As the razor scraped against her scalp, Fatima felt a piece of her dignity stripped away. That night, she was locked in a small room. For 7 days, she sat alone, her tears her only company. She could hear her daughters crying on the other side of the wall, but they were forbidden from seeing her.
Why are they punishing me?
When Fatima was finally allowed to leave the room, she emerged to find her home unrecognizable. The brothers had ransacked it, taking money, deeds, and even the jewelry Musa had given her over the years. The once vibrant home now felt hollow, stripped of everything they had built together. What have you done? She demanded, confronting Jamal. Everything Musa owned belongs to us, he said coldly. He was our brother. You are just a woman.
I am his wife. We built this life together. How dare you take what is ours?
Idris sneered. You speak as if you have a right to anything. Your place is to obey, not to question. Fatima turned to the elders for support, but they looked away, unwilling to challenge the brothers. She realized then that she was truly alone. A week later, Jamal approached Fatima with finality in his voice. You and your daughters must leave. This house is no longer yours.
Leave? Where will we go? This is our home.
It was Musa's home, Idris corrected. And Musa is gone. Be grateful we are allowing you to live with your lives. Fatima gathered what little she could, a few clothes, a pot, and a blanket, and took her daughters by the hand. As they walked down the dusty road, Zainab, the eldest, asked,
Mama, why are they doing this to us?
Because sometimes people's hearts are filled with darkness. But we will not let their darkness consume us. We will find a way.
The journey was grueling. With no money and nowhere to go, Fatima and her daughters relied on the kindness of strangers. Some offered food. Others gave them shelter for a night. But there were days when they went hungry, and nights when they slept under the stars, huddled together for warmth. Mama, Halima whispered one night, are we being punished for something?
No, my child, this is not a punishment, it is a test, and we will pass it.
Fatima's resolve grew stronger with each passing day. She refused to let her daughters see her despair, though her heart ached with every step. After weeks of wandering, they arrived in the village of Baraka, where Fatima met an elderly woman named Amina. Amina was known for her kindness and wisdom, and when she saw Fatima and her daughters, she took them in without hesitation. Child, you have been through much, Amina said, offering them a meal, but you are safe now.
Thank you, Mama Amina. I thought we would never find kindness again.
Under Amina's care, Fatima began to rebuild her life. She worked in the fields, sewed clothes, and baked bread to earn a living. Her daughters attended the village school, their laughter slowly returning. Though life in Baraka was peaceful, it was not easy. Fatima faced whispers and judgment from some villagers, who believed a widow without a husband was a burden. Why does she not return to her family? One woman asked. She is proud, another replied, but pride does not feed children. Fatima ignored the gossip, focusing instead on her work and her daughters. She taught them the values Musa had cherished: honesty, kindness, and perseverance. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Zainab asked, Mama, do you miss Papa?
Every day, but he is with us in spirit. As long as we carry his love in our hearts, he will never truly be gone.
Years passed, and Fatima's hard work began to pay off. She saved enough to buy a small plot of land where she built a modest home. One day, a traveling merchant arrived in Baraka, bringing news from Mbale. Musa's brothers are ruined, he said. They squandered his wealth on gambling and feasts. Now they fight amongst themselves, blaming each other for their misfortune. Fatima listened in silence, her emotions a mix of sorrow and vindication.
Greed destroys all it touches, but I will not rejoice in their suffering. It is not the way.
Fatima's daughters grew into strong, intelligent women. Zainab became a teacher. Halima pursued farming, and Mariam showed a talent for storytelling. They honored their father's memory in everything they did, carrying forward the values he had instilled in them. On the anniversary of Musa's death, Fatima visited his grave in Mbale. Dressed in her signature blue, red, and white dress, she knelt and whispered,
Musa, they tried to break me, but I stood firm. Our daughters are your legacy, as am I.
As she walked back to Baraka, Fatima felt a sense of peace. Her journey had been fraught with pain and loss, but it had also revealed her strength. She was no longer a victim of circumstance. She was a survivor, a mother, and a beacon of hope.
Fatima's story became a legend in Baraka, a tale passed down from generation to generation. Her resilience inspired countless women to rise above adversity and reclaim their lives. And though Fatima never sought revenge or wealth, she found something far more valuable: the strength to stand tall and the wisdom to forgive. Her name lived on, not as a widow who was wronged, but as a symbol of love, courage, and the unyielding strength of a mother's heart.